Bună ziua. Good afternoon. Carissa, welcome. Today I've got something a bit different, more of a chat with you. Because I've had 5 videos published now that are about something to do with Romania or vaguely its history or language. And all of those videos, comparatively for my small channel, have done well. You guys have liked them. Thank you. So I'm gonna have to learn a bit more about Romania. I'm not going to leave behind the Welsh stuff. You know, I'm proud of my language, the Gymraeg. I just need to recognize that many of you like when I make videos about Romania, and I'm listening to you. So maybe this video is a testimony to the future. Beginning this journey, how do I view a Romanian now, from Wales, my country, looking into it? What's my impression of the country and the Romanian people? So that's what this video is about. Now, I think I need an actual cup of tea, not just water, so how about we go down and sit at the table and have a cup of tea, a panad. I've known several Romanians in my lifetime, a couple in Wales and elsewhere, and I've never met a Romanian in person who I don't get along with. Is that because the good ones have left? I don't know. But I remember a Romanian fellow I met at university, we hit it off quite well. We had the same kind of temperament, not too high-strung. Maybe that's because we were both a bit older than other students, but I don't think so. We had a similar temperament. But about what kind of people the Romanian people are, on the channel Jitse von Pixabay had this to say about the collective psyche of the Romanians. To which I responded, I've stumbled blindly into a house that is both a beehive and a gold mine. What do I mean by that? The negative things about Romania, there are clearly negative things. But hidden within that, I think there's a treasure trove that not a lot of people have recognized, and something that's worthwhile and potentially very worthwhile. In terms of this channel, we'll see where it goes. I don't know yet. But maybe I've just stumbled into the beehive to do with this Dacian Dakopathy stuff and these cultural identity theories. Maybe I just went into the wrong way. The back door of the house or something. I don't know. What's the living room like? We'll check it out. But there is a collective mind to the Romanians. And as I've moved countries in my own lifetime, you're never truly aware of another country's collective psyche until you really delve into it and learn about it. So this video is more of a talking head video, but the reason it is such is because I've got things coming up. I've got a bit of business to do. I'm getting this out for you in terms of showing you that I'm consistent in my creating content for you. And over the next month, I hope, I've got some very interesting videos coming out for you to do with subjects that some of you have asked me to do. From what I've seen about the Romanian landscape, it's beautiful. These Carpathian mountains. Comparing this to Wales, our Eryri and Banai, our mountains are very, very small in comparison. But more than that, around the periphery of these mountains, Romania has some very good agricultural land and very beautiful, rich plains, which are able to produce a lot, which marks it as different from Wales. Our agricultural industries are very different. These mountains have shaped our two countries, Wales and Romania, in different ways, because their mountains are so big. When invaders came, they were able to retreat to them and not fully be crushed. And around the time that Wallachia, the principality, won its independence in present-day Romania, we were being snuffed out, Llywelyn, because the technologies and the supply caravans of medieval war were beginning to be able to expand territory over those mountains, and our mountains were not big enough to protect us. But the Carpathian Mountains were big enough to protect Romania from the Hungarian. Well, it was a very large kingdom at that point, Hungary. That juxtaposition of what geography does, I find remarkable. And they have lowlands as well in the lower Danube, which we don't have anything like it. And this, I think, after the fall of Rome, would have held on bits of their culture in a way that we weren't able to keep in lowland England. "1989 is a watershed moment that we in Wales have not had the likes of for centuries. We in Wales have been ruled by the left since 1922. Romania had a violent revolution to remove the left. And this has changed their whole idea of themselves, clearly. That's a break. I mean, they have roads in their cities commemorating this revolution, throwing off left-wing tyranny and oppression. These communist dictators. Well, one main one, Ceausescu. We've had a series of managerial politicians in Wales slowly running us down without any economic aspiration or do-it-yourself, depend upon your own merit attitude. And I think that because of that, they're independent in a way that we're not, in terms of the mind, to violently remove a left-wing government. Most of Wales doesn't even vote in our elections, and we just quietly allow a left-wing government. And don't get me wrong, both countries are relatively poor, but Romania is coming up. It's beginning to build. It's got major ports on the Black Sea, a major city, a couple major cities, and we don't have anything comparable, I think, because of this difference between us in terms of political thought. We've never had a break against our own selves politically. It's always against what England wants. Romania had a revolution against itself. Its own ideas threw them out. And because of that, two things are happening. It's building upon its own histories, like I said, with Basarab, who threw off the Hungarian invasions of the medieval times. And then later Mihu, or Mihai the Brave, Michael the Brave, who unified the principalities. We never had that unification. And so our politics is viewed in the context, Wales, of what we're not in relation to England, whereas Romania's politics are based in relation to what are the common threads between these three major principalities, because they're caught between three major autocratic states. Hungary's Oban at the present, Russia beyond Ukraine, and Turkey to the south. They've got these threats to liberal democracy all around them, and I think in seeing the Ukraine war especially, and seeing what possibilities Europe has to offer, they've become much more liberal, much more democratic, and this during the age in which they're still in the mindset of revolt against the communist past. So they strike me as a country with problems, yes, a people with problems in terms of its own identity as to where they come from, which some of my videos have mentioned, but that they don't want to be like Hungary, they don't want to be like Russia or Turkey, they want to be a liberal, open, European society that's pro-business. I like that. But the impact of having been under communism has decimated their economy. But also the fact that they are kind of hemmed in by these autocratic states beyond their borders. I wonder about this anti-Semitism that we're seeing, this hatred of Judaism in Israel that we're seeing sweep the West. I wonder, is Romania outside of that? Because it does seem a very Anglo-centric English language thing that's erupting at the moment. The new anti-Semitism we're seeing in our cities here in the West is very left-wing. And I don't think, at least I hope not, that this is permeating Romanian society in any way the same way. Romania does have a history of anti-Semitism like, well, every country in Eastern Europe did in that last 100-year phase, right? It's not that Romania is somehow explicitly more anti-Semitic than other countries, it's not. But I wonder, with Romanian Orthodox Christianity, what is the relation to Judaism? Because, you know, I have to think about that. Like, if I want to visit their country, if I want to learn more about their culture and their language, what is their view towards it? Am I gonna get trouble with it? It does seem that there's been some anti-Semitism in Poland and Ukraine in recent years. I wonder how that is now. Ukraine has a Jewish president at the moment, of course. So maybe things are shifting and much better. But I do know, because of these political ideas in their recent past, I don't think Romanians are susceptible to this kind of hatred that's erupting in the West, or, well, Romania is the West-ish. Is it going to be that anti-Semitism in Romania is just the old-fashioned Christian type? Or is it that because they're in this more liberal, pro-European mentality, that's kind of been alleviated? I'd be interested in learning and, well, going to Romania and seeing for myself, because it's another world, and that brings me to the next point, a world. The British Isles, some Irish nationalists in Northern Ireland may not like this, but the British Isles' wider context is a world. Gaul, or France, with France, Brittany, Belgium, Luxembourg, parts of those borders, that's a world. Iberia, Spain, Catalonia, Portugal, the Basques, that's a world. These are cultural spheres with Sprachbund, like interchanging of languages even though they're different languages, interchanging of cultural ideas and customs, mixing with each other. You know, India, more northern India, is another one of these worlds. I think Romania, explicitly actually the Carpathian Ridge, which includes parts of Ukraine, Slovakia, Hungary, and down further south, maybe bits of Serbia. This is a world unto itself, this wider Carpathian zone. What that means is I could spend my entire life studying, researching as an archaeologist in the British Isles, focusing entirely on it, and I would never exhaust the resources and learning and the languages available to me. I think that's the same thing about this Carpathian zone, is that there's so much there. I would never exhaust it once I dig into it. And it's incredibly rich for that. But for we on the western seaboard of Europe, like Wales here, we don't really know anything about Romania. So I wonder what's there. That's my first impression. What is this depth? What are the layers? I do see a bit of a German influence in Romania, historically at least, and I see a German influence in Romanian cuisine, which I look forward to tasting. German influence on food. Ooh, I look forward to exploring that. I enjoy different kinds of food, and it'd be interesting to explore that. I think Romania, just like Italy or France or Germany, they have their own cuisines. In Wales, we roast a lot of things. It's a very roasting culinary culture. I wonder what Romania's culture is. I think they use a lot of rice. That's my impression. But despite these multicultural influences in cuisine, probably like Old Saxon, German, and Hungarian, Turkish, I see that the country it's very centralized in culture. It took a very French model, wanted to stamp it down upon these regional cultures, which I'm a bit, I'm coming from a Welsh perspective. Sorry, Wales is a very decentralized mindset. We're not into the centralized authority, right? Despite this, I think they are very down to earth and humble as a people. They've never had a real empire. They've had to fight for their country. I think that's made them a very humble people, in my opinion. But if you go through dictatorships and wars, it's gonna leave a few scars on your mind, No offense. Romania's been through some horrible stuff, and that's gonna scar your people, so I'm sure you got a few mental problems in your society. Anyone who went through that kind of thing would, Ceausescu was nuts. But I think in part because of that, and because of your Slavic influences, which are deep, I think Romania has a bit of a dark sense of humor, a very dry sense of humor. That's my impression. I could be wrong, which I kind of like. It's a bit sadistic, but I can admire that, right? But yet at the same time, there's this Latin warmth, this open hospitality. I see Romanians as being, once they like you, a very generous and open people. Certainly more so than Britain. But I don't know. We'll see. I'll have to explore this country to know if that's true. I think that Slavic influence, that Eastern European influence, and maybe the German influence has made them a very direct, blunt people, which, as a Texan, I actually admire very much, because in Britain, you actually have to, torture people to get the honest truth out of them. For me, it's kind of rude. It's like, well, just be honest. And I strike Romanians as they'll tell you the truth whether you like it or not, kind of thing. And for me, that's actually more polite. Just say what you mean. Don't beat around the bush, just say it. The regions. Now, I've read a couple books about Romania. That doesn't make me an expert, but how else are you going to learn? You have to read books. And my impression is that the areas of this country which I would enjoy would be these more fertile areas in the south, near the Danube. Maybe the Banat, like Timișoara, seems like a very European, cultured kind of place. They have a lot of French in style architecture across the south of Romania, which I find very beautiful. This golden age in French architecture left a lasting impact on Romania. And it happens to be the kind of French architecture one of the kinds which I most admire. And Oltenia, I find this agricultural area very beautiful. Speaking about architecture, I'm aware that the Marxists, the communists, were not really fans of beautiful things. I worry that ugliness has been crept in and butchered the fine architecture. I don't know. I'll have to see for myself. But This area going toward the Black Sea, Dobrogia, this strikes me as a very beautiful area that I would like to see. And for that matter, the landscape of Romania is very diverse. It's got many different kinds of landscape, which means that there'd be very much a variation of cultures from one place to the other, which again would mean it would take a long time to get to know. As far as living there, I'm quite aware that there's a serious poverty problem and economics because of the residual effects of having been a communist country under a harsh dictatorship, and I think that's going to leave some pretty bad scars upon your country, right? I hope I did not insult anyone with my current views of Romania unknowingly wandering into the house. But that is a first impression. Let me know down in the comments, if you're not Romanian, what do you think of Romania? If you are Romanian, how do you feel that people view your country? Did I match up to stereotypes? Let me know. And thank you very much to each of my Patreons for supporting and each one of you for watching. We'll see you next time.